here in the producer's booth, I'm just sitting here bopping along to the theme song of Living Low Sodium with Mary Schepp today. Mary Schepp is asking, how's your heart health? And I'm wondering, mine's actually, it's actually pretty good. It's not too bad, really. But also, the show is brought to you today in whole by Living My LoSo Lifestyle, MyLoSoLifestyle.com, where you can actually go and learn all about recipes, about living low sodium, no salt. Now what? Go check out MyLoSoLifestyle.com. And but wait until after the show. Wait till after the show. Mary, good morning.
Good morning. How's things?
Things are good.
I haven't been here in a while. It's been a couple, 2-3 weeks. And I look like I'm in the Arctic because it's cold in here.
It is.
I've got my thermal hoodie on because the air conditioning in the studio this morning is a bit high.
It's we're coming to you live from the 216 The Net Meat Locker.
In the Arctic.
Yeah.
Woo! It was a little chilly one this morning, but it's good.
Oh, look here. There's Derek Bear.
Oh, hey, good morning, Derek.
He finally got up early and can watch the show. Look at that. Forget the fact that he's got a job to go to, right?
Now that the show is earlier, I'm not going to lie. Wednesday nights, I was like, I don't have to work tomorrow. And then sometime around 8:30 at night, it hits me that I gotta get up.
That you got to get up.
I still got to get up. I mean, no matter what, even on my day off, I'm up early. So it's, as you get older, you just, at least for me and most people that I know, they stop sleeping in. You get in a, rhythm of moving. What's work? Yeah, I don't know what that is either. But it's still one of those things about 8:30. You go, oh crap, I gotta get up super early and actually do stuff.
Yeah.
Not sit in my comfy pants all day.
No, there's only one day a week I get to do that, and sometimes not even then. So,
with the topic of conversation around the world today, and I do not want this show nor the comments feed to turn into a big who's on which side of what fence or what their opinion is about the zombie apocalypse. But it got me thinking about how many people are completely unaware of their heart health. And
yeah,
now I'm surrounded by a lot of people who worry about their heart health on a regular basis because I live a low sodium lifestyle. So mine isn't necessarily for my heart health, but subsequently, because I live low sodium and because I have liver disease, I have to pay good attention to my heart health because I don't need another condition on top of everything else that I do. So you do have to watch.
You're kind of at max capacity for your conditions.
I got the allowable ailments for one person.
You've reached your limit.
But do you know your blood pressure? Do you know your heart rate? I know that Pete and I do because we both have conditions that require us to have learned what those things are. And the funny thing is once you learn something, you tend to watch it at least a little bit. Like I have one of those little blood pressure cuffs at home so I can check my blood pressure all the time. I weigh myself on my scale every single morning. It has a little digital thing that Bluetooths to my phone so I can keep track. And so I know and I also know that when I go into a hospital, how many times have you ever gone to a doctor for any reason whatsoever? And they ask you, is that high? Is that normal for you? Is that blood pressure normal? Is that resting heart rate normal? And I know a lot of people who've never been into the hospital, and I love the fact that that's the case. But when you go to a doctor visit or an ER or anything, and someone says, is that your normal? Because everybody, even though the standards say that a resting heart rate, is between 60 and 100.
Yeah.
My resting heart rate is like coma.
Mm.
And I'm not even joking. When I went in, when my, the lesion happened on my spine, I went in for my nerve damage back in 2019. The lady comes in like they do every couple hours to take your blood pressure and all that stuff and do your vitals. And she couldn't find my pulse. And she just kind of giggles.
Are you alive?
And she's looking at me, and she's got this little smirk on her face, and she's giggling, and she's watching. And I said, "What?" She goes, I'm not a new nurse. I know how to do this." She says, "But I'm having a hard time finding your pulse." She says, "I know you're okay because you're talking to me and you're coherent and you're not like loopy or, just like you're going to pass out." And I told her, I said, "No, mine's actually pretty low." So she broke out the stethoscope and listened, and yep, there it is. There, it's right there. She said, "You're just," and then when she took my blood pressure, same thing. She goes, "Let's have you sit up and see how it is." I said, "Same thing. It's mine is normally naturally low." But I can guarantee you, if you went out and walked around town and asked a bunch of people what their blood pressure, their resting heart rate, or their cholesterol is, they wouldn't know. No,
well, probably not. I mean, well, quite frankly, unless there's an actual reason for you to watch it, why would you?
Why wouldn't you? That's my question.
Nobody does.
Right, but
it's just not a thing. It's never been. You didn't grow up in school or grow up with. I mean, my parents. Well, here, I'll take that back. My grandfather, my mom's dad, is probably the only person. But he was the chief of nursing for the Kansas State Hospital, so he watched everything.
So
and still had an aneurysm.
Here's a statistic for you that 1 in 5 heart attacks are silent. You don't know you had it. You don't do anything about it. You just like, oh man, some heartburn, and you're good, and you go on, and the damage is done. So if you're not paying, and that's my point, is we put such a little value on our health. We don't teach it in school. We don't teach it to our children. So as we grow older, when you're younger and your muscles are strong, and I say muscles because your heart's a muscle.
Well, yeah, it's pretty much all it is.
But your muscles are strong, and your body can recoup from things. So if you tear a hamstring or you shin splints or whatever, you can your body heals itself. And then all of a sudden, inevitably, and that's why everybody talks about this coveted 40 mark, or the not really coveted, the opposite of coveted, but the detrimental 40 mark, where you start going downhill and your health and your heart, and now all of a sudden you got to get colonoscopies and heart scans and blood pressure and all this stuff. And now you're learning out about all of those things at 40 or 45 or 50. And if you had learned about those things when you were younger and in your 20s going, holy crap, I'm pre-hypertensive.
Yeah, you would. Well, I mean, to be fair, I didn't start packing on I did not start converting my 6-pack to a keg until I was in my late 20s, early 30s. So, and that was just because, hey, I slowed down. Good morning, Lisa. How you doing?
Oh, good morning, Rachel.
Rachel says, ugh, 40 sucks.
40 does suck.
You know what? But when you get to 54 and knocking on the door of 55, it's all good.
So now that's the other thing is it's funny that you say that, because I've had that conversation with a lot of people. Because in their 40s, so this 40 to 50 mark, you discover you have these health problems because you never paid attention to any of that shit when you were younger.
Yeah.
So now you discover that you have whatever you have, whether it's heart disease or, diverticulitis or gout or whatever.
Right.
So now you say, okay, whatever, I got to suck it up. I got to eat healthy. I got to do whatever. And you get used to that rhythm.
Yeah.
And you get into that lifestyle. And then 50 hits. And now you've gotten into a habit of eating better. Chances are you've probably fixed your teeth, because most people by that point, you've never done anything with your teeth. So you either
thankfully
have
my teeth are
dentures,
pretty decent.
That's a lot of people I know. That 10-year gap is when they start getting teeth yanked out of their head. They get fillings. Me, myself, I can't even tell you how many tens of thousands of dollars to save what's in my mouth. My dad, mom, same thing. Both of them had to have their teeth fixed in their 40s.
Really?
And you're literally walking around with a mid-grade infection in your head at all times if you don't take care of your teeth. So now 50 hits, and now you're back on the incline of things are good, things are great. I'm almost going to retire. My health is better, and things start looking up.
Now, admittedly, because I drink coffee like it's life's blood,
Me too.
My teeth have.
Cheers to the coffee.
My teeth are somewhat coffee stained, but beyond that, I'm kind of a brushing fanatic.
Mm-hmm.
I have my wonderful.
I am now.
automatic Oral-B thing, and the flossing is fun. It's fun to floss. There you go. That's your PSA for today.
I don't care if your kids brush their teeth or not. If all you ever do is instill in them that they need to floss their teeth twice a day, you're going to save their mouth.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's fun to floss.
So,
hooray.
This is why I say I don't want this to turn into a zombie apocalypse conversation. We were talking about this before the show. But in a time when everybody is screaming that you should listen to your doctors and do what they say and get vaccinated, or you should not listen to your doctors and you should know what's in your body and you have a choice to put what's in your body and don't get vaccinated. And I know that there's other sides to that fence and there's other avenues, but primarily everybody's screaming one way or the other that, it's your body, do it, don't do it, be healthy, not healthy. And the whole point of this show came up specifically because I was standing in line at the grocery store, and my particular grocery store has a Starbucks in it. I like Starbucks. Not because I like Starbucks, because I like lattes, which is coffee and cream. And this lady and these two girls are having this conversation about how they have the right to know what they put in their body and blah, 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 and this is ridiculous, while drinking a venti pink drink. So I couldn't help but sit there and go, do you understand the irony that you are exemplifying at this exact moment where you're screaming, God damn it, I have the right to know what I put in my body. You absolutely do.
You do.
I want you to march up to Starbucks and ask them what they put in that drink to make it pink and why you need to.
Because if the only way to identify a beverage is by calling it pink drink,
right.
It's not. It's mostly a chemistry experiment. It may taste
with sugar.
It may taste super good.
Right. I think they just added a shot of espresso to a bottle of Pepto-Bismol and called it a pink drink.
Which is hilarious. I hate Pepto-Bismol. Oh God.
I would drink it out of the fridge. I thought it was like I thought it was like Nestle or something.
Really? You like that pink peppermint?
It was
chalkiness.
You weren't allowed to have it.
Oh.
Like you'd open the door of the fridge, and my parents kept it in the fridge.
Okay.
So it was like, oh, what's that? No, you can't have that. It's not for you. Okay. And as soon as they'd walk around the corner, that's exactly what kids do. You say you can't have that. That's the first thing they're going to go for.
So you like the Pepto-Bismol. Yeah.
No, that's horrible.
You were such a druggie at a young age.
I know, right?
Sneaking the Pepto-Bismol.
Oh my God, it's just... All it is chalk liquefied so that you can get a heartburn.
Yeah.
Of all of the things that I could have done.
With a little bit of peppermint flavoring. So
that's my question, is everybody's arguing about what they have the right to know what they put in their body, and they're terrified. And I'm not going to lie. I, as somebody who has an active lesion on my spine, and it's no secret that I'm not vaccinated, not because I'm an anti-vaxxer or I think vaccinations are stupid or anything of the sort. It's because it was recommended by my doctors to hold off because I have an active lesion, I have an active hole in my spine, so I have to wait.
So, yeah.
But that's the thing, is you trust your doctors every day for all sorts of stuff. And some of them are batshit crazy. Like there's some doctors who are telling you to do stuff that you just, as a kid, I had one try to put me on some seriously potent painkillers because I had migraines. And if it wasn't for the fact that my sister's a nurse and went, no, I'm not going to have my baby sister be a painkiller addict. Well, let's find another way to work through my migraines. And, we worked through that. But there's a combination of being smart and paying attention and doing your research.
Yeah.
As well as listening to your medical professionals and all other professionals. It's no different than if you go into a car dealership to get your car fixed and they're like, yeah, you need this ABC 1, 2, 3 valve because I said so.
Yeah.
And I know that it's not always easy to have that knowledge or find that knowledge, but it's amazing how many people are scared to say, you know what, I'm going to hold off and research it and make an educated decision. And research is not Facebook.
No.
So if you come to me and said, I did research and I saw a Facebook group and they said that it's okay to eat Himalayan pink salt because it's healthy. No. Nice try.
It's tasty.
It is tasty. I use it.
We use it at home. We have that. It's good. I like it.
My husband always makes a comment whenever I do use it, which is very rare and sparingly. But because the sea salt grinder grinds the salt in a fashion that it's like a dust that coats things, I feel like I'm getting a whole lot more salt than what I'm actually getting.
Yeah.
So, and I've said that a lot because not everybody can do what I do. I never say that it's easy to live a healthy lifestyle. I should say that. It's not easy to start. But once you change your lifestyle, it is surprisingly easy.
Yeah, once you change, it's not even like vegetables, which I don't like, but I do more and more.
You don't complain nearly as much about the vegetables that you eat now as you did a year ago.
I don't, yeah.
The look on your face when you would say, Mary Catherine made you eat vegetables before was like someone reached in and ripped your heart out and said you can never have Twinkies again.
Yeah.
And she made you eat a handful of carrots.
Right.
And now it's like, I had vegetables last night.
Yeah.
So it's not my favorite. My favorite. I would pick something else, but I eat them.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if it's the number one because it's really hard to do research and get statistics based on where you go and what side of the pond you live on. But most of the research I do comes from like Harvard EDU, the Mayo Clinic, PubMed, which does the medical publications, which are also skewed. And I understand, and the same with the CDC and the World Health Organization, all of these places are backed by somebody. So they all are slightly skewed one direction or the other.
They report to the money.
However, they have clinical trials.
Yeah. So which are available. The data is there. The raw data is there.
So you read through it and you can find these results. And the number one killer in the United States is heart disease. Not just heart attacks, cardiovascular disease of many different kinds, whether it's birth defects, a car accident or like an actual physical accident, you get hit in the chest, hurt your heart, stuff like that, or actual smoking, alcoholism, all of those things. The entire group of heart disease is the leading cause of death for men and women and people of racial and ethnic groups in the United States. One person dies every 36 seconds, and this is data from the CDC. 655 Americans die from heart disease each year. And heart disease costs the United States $219.
Wait, say that number again. How many die each year?
655,000 people.
Okay, you left off the 1,000 a second ago.
Oh, yeah. 655 people die every year.
Yeah.
655,000 people
1,000,
die every year of heart disease. And the leading cause of heart disease. And yes, like I said, there's people that are born with birth defects, and genetics and all sorts of other things. But the leading cause of heart disease is obesity and diabetes.
Yeah.
And diabetes is usually caused by obesity.
Mm-hmm.
So when people talk about obesity, and I'm not saying that I am a huge proponent of ice cream, as everybody knows. I like my Juliennes. I like my Culver's custard. I like any ice cream that anybody, I don't like ice cream with chocolate chunks in it.
No?
When the chocolate freezes, if it's not like good dark chocolate, which usually it's not, it just tastes like wax inside ice cream. It's a textural thing. You put chocolate swirls or peanut butter or something in ice cream, I'm game. But actual hard chocolate chunks.
That's even better for me.
Yeah, no. Well, you like the super hard ice cream anyways.
I do.
But when you actually start paying attention to your health and you say, okay, I think I'm healthy. And I can guarantee you that if anybody walked up to me, they would not call me fat or overweight.
No.
My BMI is 25.7. Technically, medically speaking, that puts me slightly overweight.
Barely.
Right.
Barely.
So your BMI should be between 25 and 30. 25 and 29.9. But 25 to 30, so your height and your weight gives you your BMI. So 18 to 25 is where you want to be. For me, 18 to 25 means I'm under 165 pounds. And I'm 172, which is the heaviest I've ever been. And most of it is water weight at this particular moment because, you know, the joys of having liver disease and a spinal issue is anytime my hormones change at all means that I have to reevaluate, recalculate, and take a little bit of a different path in my lifestyle to get it course corrected. And I'm going to tell you, as someone who's told you a million times that you don't know how bad you feel until you feel better, that if I'm over 165 pounds, I start feeling my worst. I'm unbelievably lethargic, even more so than normal, that caused by liver disease. I have the world's smallest hiatal hernia. Doesn't bother me. Doctor told me not to do anything about it unless something happens. But when I breach 165 pounds, I get a little tiny fat pocket just below my rib cage, which pushes on that little hiatal hernia. So it's like someone poking the bear every single 2 seconds. Like if I move or switch or time or whatever, that little fat pouch reminds me all day long that I have a sore spot in there. Now, I mean, all those things, and it's a slippery slope. So I've changed my diet. I have an exercise plan, all to keep me back down below 165. I don't want to lose millions of pounds and be supermodel thin and all this. I need to drop like 7 pounds. And that's it. Because it is a slippery slope and it's a hard lifestyle to change. And the bigger you get and the more unhealthy you get, the harder it is to change that lifestyle and to make that habit change.
And Rachel says right here, I wish more people knew that BMI was not a great way to judge health. Mm-mm. It's easy to measure, and that's the biggest reason doctors use it. Well, and
she's 100% correct.
To that point, I fall in the very end example you have where I'm 35 or greater on my BMI. I'm a big round belly fella.
You have visceral fat. You've got the belly fat.
Yeah, I got the belly fat, but my blood pressure, I have been off of blood pressure meds since last October. My blood pressure is normal. My lipids and lipids are always fine. My cholesterol is always fine. I just carry a lot of belly fat, and because I'm very sedentary in my lifestyle, except for the treadmill.
And to Rachel's point, that's 100% correct. So when people talk about your BMI or anything, and that's why I brought it up, because you look at me and go, okay, yes, I'm 172 pounds. I will gain or lose 10 pounds in a day in water weight. That is not normal. It is not average. And if you or anybody else that doesn't have liver disease or transverse myelitis, that's a problem. You need to see a doctor. I'm aware of it. I know how much I can gain or lose, and I need to stay hydrated, especially during the summer. So I consume more water than technically I should as somebody with liver disease. So when you take and that's where you look at the whole package as a mass, and you look at your body mass, you look at your cholesterol, you look at your blood pressure, and you look at your diet, and you look at all of these things, your sleep patterns, all of it affects your overall health. So like to your point, where you're doing something about your extra fat. It's not running marathons or you want to be a supermodel and you want a 6-pack. If I want to do Fiesta Days again next year and continue to stay active for more than another 6 months, I need to get rid of this extra weight.
I need to get rid of a little bit extra here.
So you eat a little bit better and you walk and you move around.
And granted, ginger supermodels, especially gingers turning white supermodels, are relatively rare, and I don't really feel like entering the competition pool for that.
That would be hilarious. A 216 the net fireman catalog.
Oh, good Lord! Yeah,
come on, that'd be funny.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll talk to Kent about that, and Derek, who I'll see later this evening. That's I understand. Funny. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I would take the pictures. I would not be a part of that. So it isn't just, and that's why I said, because technically, if all you looked at was my BMI, and you didn't physically look at me, I would be classified in that slightly overweight category. So there's so much more to it than that. But subsequently, when you take my blood work, so when I went to the hospital for my liver,
Yeah.
and I was admitted in late at night, and the doctor's looking at they had just got my blood work back. They hadn't got the results from my MRIs back yet. So he's looking at the blood work. He's like, wow, you're pretty boring on paper. Like your blood pressure is great. Your liver enzymes are great. Your he's like, you're a little low in vitamin D and whatever. And, a couple things there. And then he noticed that my bilirubin was a little high.
Your what?
Bilirubin. It's a toxic substance in your blood. It can be an indicator of a couple different issues.
Oh, okay.
It's a liver thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty much shit in your blood. If your bilirubin is too high,
yeah,
that means there's essentially like bile running through your blood and it hasn't been filtered out.
Yeah.
So he's like, it's not, and like, it's literally that like 1/10 of a point over. So he's like, we'll have to say, I said, well, that it's normal for me. He said, oh, okay. Not 5 minutes later, he gets the results from my MRI and he goes, so you have cirrhosis, right? Yep. Well aware. I'm like, I'm sure it's in my chart somewhere. It's about 17,000 pages thick, but it's in there. But when you first get admitted, they obviously can't read your entire history. They're looking at the results from the work that they have, like the stab from the needle you got 10 minutes ago.
Right.
So when he sees the MRI, you can see my scarred liver. So a lot of times when people go in and you look healthy and you seem healthy and you seem okay and you get blood work done and your blood work's okay, because your liver is one of those organs that can heal itself, fix itself, and take one hell of a beating. It's literally like a boxer. You can beat the ever-living shit out of it, and until it's only got about 5% left is when it starts showing up on your blood work. So if they catch it really, really early before it turns into cirrhosis, it's because they did an MRI or they took out your gallbladder, or you had, some kind of medical procedure where they had to look at that cavity in your chest and go, holy shit, your liver looks like a pot-marked pit hole of crappiness.
Yeah.
So
which is not a compliment.
No. And so it's kind of funny to me when anytime I have another scan and a doctor has to look at they start flipping through the files, and as they get through there and they look and they're like, oh, wow, you. And if they catch the MRI scans before they catch the actual written whatever, it's always comical to me when they ask me, do you have liver disease? Nope. This is the first time I'm hearing about it.
You don't say.
I should mess with them one time. The next time someone asks me that, really? What do I do about that?
What? Oh my God. Yeah. No, then they're going to look at it with the amount of liver you've got left that functions. They're going to be like, how come you're alive?
Right. How are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah.
So it is a combination of different things. But the fact that so many people are so quick to have that conversation of, do you know what you're putting in your body? Whether it's a vaccine conversation or a fast food conversation, a coffee drinker conversation, you see someone drinking diet soda and you go, do you have any idea what you're drinking? Do you know what you're putting in your body? Do you? Like, you want to spout off and yell at somebody else about what they're doing right or wrong. And I think that it's a severe detriment to younger generations that we talk so much about these healthy initiatives. You have to eat healthy, and you have to eat a certain way, and you have to diet a certain way. And we put all of these stigmatas and all this pressure to do that without the knowledge of what you're doing. You don't teach your kids heart health or actual physical, like, how do you know if you're healthy? Are you childhood obesity? I'm sorry, but if your kids are under 10 years old and they don't have a pre-existing medical condition, They shouldn't be drinking Starbucks and sugar and sugar and sugar and sugar and sugar.
No. In fact, I mean, even when we were little, we weren't allowed it. I remember my first Coke. Right. It was very near my first Twinkie.
Mm-hmm.
And both were just, angelic experiences for me because we weren't allowed sugar. We weren't, no Kool-Aid, no soft drinks, no nothing. In fact, I for a number of reasons, mostly because I was extremely active when I was a kid, I did not start packing on the pounds until I was in my 20s, until after I met Mary Catherine and discovered what good cooking was. Mm-hmm. That was the other reason. My mother could not, even to this day, and she'll tell you herself, she can't cook.
Same.
It was,
I never knew that asparagus could taste good. I thought it was mush out of a can. I was unaware that it grew like little trees in the ground and it was crunchy and nice. I thought it was this mushy stuff that you covered in Velveeta.
Yeah.
And that's why Velveeta was so prominent in my life as a child, because my mom couldn't cook and she put it on everything.
Well, I mean, that was in my mind. I wish she had known about Velveeta, as a matter of fact, because that would have made everything good. Because, I mean, I was one of the very few kids when you got called to dinner, it was like a freaking punishment.
Yeah. Bologna sandwiches, spaghetti.
I mean,
hot dogs.
Bologna, hot dogs, which was rare. Or I loved the winter because then she would give us fried peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to start off the day.
Never that lucky.
You mean? Yeah, we did get. It's like, the grilled like grilled cheese, except grilled peanut butter and jelly, and that was to give us something hot to get out the door. On a winter morning to go to school. It wasn't every single morning, but it was maybe once every couple of weeks in the winter. So
I'm seriously jealous. I would have loved to grow up on grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
But I mean, you can make it now. I
do.
I freaking, again, it's not a frequent thing, but about maybe about once a month.
So
I'm sorry, Sue.
Sue's amazing. They have Sue and I are actually, now that we're in September, we're collaborating to do a show together. So Sue, one way, shape, or form, she's going to be a co-host on my show here sometime soon. But that's there's all this discussion about healthy diets and healthy lifestyles and going vegan, going green, eating healthier and avocados and these California diet type things that you're always like. Subway just changed all their line about, and Subway, of all of the places, you want to ask anybody who's actually on a heart healthy diet, and Subway is not the place they can go to eat. The bread is nothing but refined commercial flour loaded with salt. And then the lunch meats are in no way, shape, or form. And they could do low sodium. Like Subway could do a low sodium option. They could go through Boar's Head and get any other low sodium products to make a better sandwich. So when you talk about heart health and a heart healthy diet, because it's funny it's no secret that I hate diets. I hate all diets. And the only diet that you're ever going to have a doctor prescribe you is low sodium or low sugar.
Well, my doctor prescribed
with gout, you have the low purine.
Well, before that, I mean, that's actually how I got it. Well, I was on super low carb, and I did dump a lot of weight in about 6 months until I met the gout.
And that was for a specific health condition, though.
Yeah, it was.
So, but almost always that's what they are. They're heart healthy type diets. So the super secret to like my living low sodium lifestyle or a heart healthy diet, it's unbelievably complicated. You reduce your salt and your sugar. You watch your portions and you eat real food.
That sounds real complicated.
It is. It's funny to me when people ask, what's your secret? How come you're not fat? How are you as healthy as you are with liver disease? I reduced my sugar and salt. I watch my portions and I eat real food. That's it. Lean meats, fruits, vegetables, whole grains.
You even eat a banana every day.
Don't remind me.
I'm just so impressed by that because I know you don't like them
No.
either. And I am so phenomenal. If my life depended on eating a banana every day, it would take a while for me to acquiesce.
You'd probably learn how to swallow it whole
So
you can plug your
probably
nose and
would.
just like.
I would probably figure out how to lose my gag reflex
Right,
just so I could
just
shove it
take it.
down and get it
Oh
in
my
there.
God.
Yeah, it would, but I would procrastinate on that until I was on my deathbed, probably.
Yeah, no, I've learned that if I eat the greener side, which if you didn't know, if you have to watch your glycemic index, which people who are diabetic or have to watch sugar will usually know what the glycemic index is. And a lot of times they say sweet fruits like bananas are off the chart. You can't have them for people with diabetes and stuff like that. But the flip side is the greener they are, the lower they are in sugar, and the higher they are in fiber. And they, because the ripening process is what causes those sugars to be created. As everything breaks down, it creates those sugars. So when they're greener, it's actually lower on the glycemic index. So if you are a banana lover and you're a diabetic, then you stick to the green bananas. Subsequently, they also smell less like bananas, which is part of my problem because when I was younger, I got sick eating too many banana flavored candies because we used to roll under the fence at Landmark and go to some other nuts and spend 50 cents on candy. And then you'd eat a whole mouthful of candy and then you go run around the playground and then, eating and then running around makes you sick. So I got sick on banana flavored candies and now that's why I don't like bananas. But the greener they are, they smell less like bananas. So usually I tend to try and eat the greener bananas.
Did you get like the little BB bats?
Yeah.
Is that what you got with the, yeah? Because I like the chocolate BB bats.
Ugh. And the chocolate I'll do, but the little banana.
Yeah. Anything banana is just horrible.
And when people raise the argument to me if they don't have time to cook, I don't have time to do that. The time it takes me to make spaghetti sauce from scratch, which when you make a spaghetti sauce from scratch, it's called a pomodoro sauce, is the same amount of time it takes me to make spaghetti from a jar. And people go, how is that possible? Because all you do is open the jar, dump it in the pan, and heat it up. Well, while you're waiting for the noodles to boil, so in the time it takes me to put water in a pan and put noodles in the pan, it's the same amount of time waiting for those noodles to cook over the course of 10 minutes as it does to throw some onions in a pan, some garlic in a pan, a can of San Marzano tomatoes, not any other tomatoes. It doesn't taste the same. You want to know why your sauce doesn't taste like Sargento or Prego or whatever the other class go. They use good tomatoes.
Yeah.
And a lot of salt. But San Marzano tomatoes, I use a little mini bottle of wine, cook the wine out, add some Italian seasoning, and then the noodles are done. Dump the noodles in and you have spaghetti.
And there you go.
So it really, once you, and that's why I say it's hard to change your lifestyle. And studies show psychologically, I think it's like 21 or 27 days to change a habit. So if you want to get up at 5 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock every single day, you need to do it for a solid month before your body gets into that rhythm of that's what you're going to do. And then it becomes habit. So if you can suffer for a month and change your lifestyle and drink less soda, drink more water, and eat real foods, it's not that you can't have what you want.
Yeah.
You can still, believe me, I made apple muffins the other day that were to die for, and I can guarantee you Rachel can attest to that because I gave her some. The joys of being my neighbor is you get fed well.
Well, there you go.
Or my station owners because I brought chili in.
Yeah, which Kent gets to eat. Kent, if he's catching this, there is chili for you in your fridge here. So there's that for you.
So it's funny because I chose the picture on the event that I posted on my Facebook page for a reason. Because it's the chili that I made last night, which is game chili. So I made it And I called it a hodgepodge chili because I didn't know what I wanted to make for dinner last night. And it was just easy to make that because it's what I had in my fridge. So I had green peppers and red peppers from the farmer's market. I had kidney beans and black beans from, just the grocery store. Low sodium, as low as you can get anyway, in a can. And I had venison and lamb. So
I'll bet that's tasty. I can't eat that, but I'll bet that's tasty.
A whole onion chopped up, 2 garlic cloves, throw in a pan with some clarified butter until they start to brown. Throw in 4 ounces of Cabernet red wine. Let the red wine cook out. Throw the meat in. Add some chili powder, which pay attention to your chili powders because some of them are loaded with salt and some of them are salt-free. So pay attention to your spices because a lot of times when it says, a mixed blend, you wouldn't think that they add salt to it, but they do. Lamb, venison, and then kidney beans, red beans, and I used a can of some Marzano tomatoes and a can of no salt added Rotel. And that is my chili that I made quick last night in less than an hour. I should say less than an hour to cook it, make it, put it in our bowl, and put it in our fat bellies. So the reason I picked that picture is because when you talk about heart health, you don't necessarily think about chili.
No.
And a lot of times with heart healthy diets, people talk about you can't have red meat. So there's not much science that says red meat increases your risk of heart disease.
No, not at all.
The saturated fat in red meat is what helps cause. So people who tend to eat more of the 80-20 ground beef and stuff like that, when you eat those kinds of red meat,
that 80-20, or even if you get down to the 70-30, which tastes amazing. Oh, because the fat has flavor.
Exactly. So that's why I tend to use clarified butter, because it's got a higher smoke point, and the browning, that Maillard reaction that comes from your vegetables from using clarified butter, adds that salted component that you miss so much. So it tastes salted when it's not. But they have shown, and I don't have it here with me today, but if you want to have red meats and you have or are on a heart healthy diet or trying to reduce your saturated fats, and you're told for whatever health reason, or just because you want to be healthy, to eat lean meats, then you need to try game meats. And I get it. If you haven't been raised around or hadn't had it, it does have a different flavor to it. It does not taste like the ground beef from your Jewel or your Meyer or your Mariano. It doesn't at all. But game meat is lower calorically. So you tend to be like in the 130s or less with elk. So if you have the option and you can get your hands on it, venison, white-tailed deer tends to be about in the middle of the game meats as far as caloric content and protein level. And the other thing that game meat is good in is it's lower in saturated fat just by the nature of the animal. They're typically, unless they're farm raised, they're typically lower in hormones, in steroids, and antibiotics because they are game. But they're also higher in the polyunsaturated fats, the omega-3s, omega-6, the B12s, all of those things. So if you're going to be a red meat eater, you are significantly better off if you go to the game meats. Red-tailed deer or venison is available in most supermarkets these days. You can buy it wrapped in a 1-pound package just like you can anything else. That's usually, farm-raised deer, which is fine. But if you can get your hands on some bison or some elk. So Bob's buffalo here in the area, he's on the Fresh from the Farm page. And we almost started a war over that because it's a McHenry County Fresh from the Farm page. And I think most of his bison or buffalo, same thing, are up in Wisconsin. He has a large herd. But the benefits of those meats, they're lower calorically, they're higher in good fats, they're lower in saturated fats, and they're higher in protein. So they're actually And that's why I posted that picture of my chili. Because if you want to talk about heart health, you don't think about chili. But when you make it like that, it's got beans and vegetables and game meat. It's surprisingly good for you. And mine doesn't have any salt in it.
Yeah.
So unless you're, and that's the downfall of being Pete.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Game meat is heart healthy. Obviously in moderation. If you eat some 32-ounce lamb chop thing for some competition, you don't come crying to me if you have a heart attack, because that's your own fault.
Right.
But game meat, on the flip side, and this is why everybody is different.
Yep.
Game meat, as far as red meats are concerned, compared to farm raised cattle and things of that nature, is higher in purine. So if you do suffer from gout, you need to stay away from the game meat. You have to stay away from most red meats in general and stick to poultry and fish. But if you are going to sneak in a piece of meat here or there, it should be
poultry, fish, and pork is not. Pork horrible. Is okay.
Yeah,
it's not horrible. So bacon is still at least on my table. Love the bacon. Bacon, yay bacon! But
yay bacon. That's what my neighbor because the bacon we had gotten. It was just a touch too salty for me, and since Ben pretty much eats what I eat now, it was a little too salty for him, so we gave it to our neighbor, and they were extremely happy about that. Other neighbor, Rachel, different neighbor. Now she's probably mad that she missed out on the bacon, but
well,
she gets all the other stuff. So, it's not complicated. It is really truly just a matter of portions, and that's the thing. Is a big part of it is your portion control. And the reason why that suddenly becomes so complicated is from the second we walk, we are bombarded by everything but healthy stuff. Everything in your face is huge portions. So you look at a Subway sandwich, for instance, and I'm sorry to keep bashing Subway because I actually like Subway. We go there occasionally. I do like a deli sandwich.
Yeah,
whether it's Subway or anywhere else, I do enjoy it. Who doesn't? Well,
tuna salad soup sandwich is good too.
Yes, tuna salad soup.
Have you ever seen their tuna salad?
It is kind of okay. I was like, wait a minute, you don't.
It's extremely watery, but it's still tasty.
It's because it makes the tuna go further if they just load it with mayo.
Yeah.
But portions, that sandwich is like 4 portions.
Oh, yeah.
The same with when you look at, now here's what's funny. You look at a Big Mac and it's less than 4 ounces of meat. Like the patties are like 1.7 ounces of beef. They're really tiny.
Yeah.
Which means the rest of that sandwich is nothing but a salt-laden bread bomb with sauces.
Yeah.
So... and the portion.
Special sauce.
Right. Which is just Thousand Island.
Yeah.
Sorry to tell you. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's Thousand Island. It's cheap Thousand Island to boot. But the portion size. But
it's still special.
Right. I mean, look at, a coffee, 20 ounce. When you start adding sugar to these things, and if you actually pay attention to the sugar content, 20 ounces, 24 ounces, 36 ounces, that super big gulp thing is 40 ounces.
Yeah, which is, I know I've seen people, and I know a couple of people who can drink that like it's a
2 or 3 of them a day.
Yeah, and I'm like, give me one of those, and I'll have some left for. It takes me 3 days to get through.
I'll have that come Halloween for trick or treat.
I don't drink a lot of. I like Coke. I like Pepsi. I like, the Dew. I like sodas. I really do. But it takes me, I'll often, just a regular little bottle you get in a 6-pack.
Right.
That goes back in the fridge. I never finish one unless it's really hot and I'm really sweating and it's a cold drink. I cannot finish one of those. It's too sweet. It's too much.
And that's since I stopped, and Ben and I stopped drinking pop, soda, whatever, long time ago, mostly because we had one weekend and I had to run up and buy a case of pop.
Yeah.
We had friends coming over and I was looking at it. I was like, didn't we just buy yesterday? Didn't I just buy a case yesterday? And it clicked how much, Pepsi and Mountain Dew and everything we were going through, just the two of us on a daily basis, and said, we're going to be dead by the time we're 40 if we don't quit this. So we stopped drinking. It was like 2011 or 12 or something like that we stopped drinking soda. So now, I mean, we do have soda water, but it's just carbonated water. But if you're supposed to drink about half your body weight in water every day. So you're supposed to drink about half.
That'd be a lot of pounds of water for me.
Well, but, I mean, it is obviously skewed because if you weigh 600 pounds, you're not necessarily supposed to drink 300 ounces of water. But on average, it's a good.
So it's an ounce per pound.
So if I'm 170 pounds, you cut that in half, and that's how much water I'm supposed to drink.
That's in ounces, not in pounds.
Correct.
Because if you drink that in pounds of water.
Right.
I mean, a gallon weighs 8 pounds.
80 to 90 ounces or a couple liters a day.
Oh, I mean, I have actually, in fact, in my backpack now, and just very recently, the last couple of weeks, instead of throwing a soda bottle in there or something else, I've actually got water. I have a little pocket in my backpack. I throw a water bottle in there now, just so I have it. And I'm pretty much sticking a coffee now in the mornings.
And then water. That's all I drink is coffee and water.
Yeah. Then I get home and
I take that back. Yeah. I do enjoy, and we started this a long time ago when we cut out soda, is I will drink soda water with like a cranberry juice. But it's like the expensive. It's not cranberry drink or apple drink.
You got to get the actual juice.
It's the actual solid. So it's when you get cranberry or apple juice that's nothing but that concentrate or that juice, it's not as sweet as you think it is. So with no sugars added, but I still only put a couple of shots in it. Now, the funny thing is if you were back in the day a cranberry vodka drinker, which I was, it's like having a cranberry vodka without the vodka. So it's not that I'm searching for ways to have drinks that taste like alcohol that aren't alcohol, but it comes in handy if I go to someone's party or go to an event and I don't feel like having everybody go, "Are you pregnant? Why aren't you drinking?" I'm not pregnant. And I don't feel like telling some stranger why I'm not drinking.
That's like,
so it's just nice to feel normal.
That's the only thing that people like. Jim Gaffigan does that bit. Oh, it's the only thing that we don't say. Oh, you drink. Oh, milk. You're not having milk. Why? You can't have milk. Oh, what's the matter with you? You can't. Oh, he can't have milk.
It's the only time we criticize. Why aren't you drinking?
And in fact, cherry juice is really good for you. Really good. In fact, I use cherry juice and cranberry juice. You have to get the actual stuff, not the ocean spray.
I get the Langers.
Not criticizing ocean spray, but just
that's a cranberry drink with nothing but concentrate and sugar.
Yeah, so you get what you get, but the actual juice, and that actually tremendously significantly helps with gout as well.
It does. So if you think about 80 ounces of water, and here scientific, like psychologically, like your body, the vast majority of people don't know what it feels like to be thirsty. If you actually start drinking the amount of water that you're supposed to drink in a day, you will start to learn what it feels like to be thirsty, because thirsty and hungry are pretty much the same response. So a lot of people assume that when they feel that urge, they think they're hungry. So they eat something. And then that continues this cycle of weight issues. But if you're supposed to have 80 ounces, and when I see these huge sodas and drinks and 16-ounce bottles of Pepsi and Coke and all this stuff, and you go through 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, if you ever actually calculate the amount of calories and sugar in those, which are nothing but empty, horrible calories that lead to the kind, and even when you see younger generations, there was a kid that worked for me for a while that his lunch every day was a 20-ounce cherry Coke from our cooler and an entire bag of gummy savers. And he was skinny as a rail. Like you are so skinny because you are nutritionally deficient of everything that you need, but you're not tired or anything. Like you're going every day and you're fine every day because your body is literally living off sugar as energy.
Yeah.
So everything else, your muscular atrophy, by the time that kid's 40, he's going to have nothing but gut and heart problems, bone density problems, all of these things, because he lives on soda and candy, and he's almost 30.
Ooh. Wow.
He's whatever. I'm good. I'm healthy. I'm not tired. I wake up. I go to sleep every night, and I come in every day, and I'm good. Okay, you say that, but like that's why your body craves sugar.
Yeah.
Because it's free energy, but it's not meant to be lived on all the time.
Yeah. And if that's all you're giving yourself,
right?
And
that's so. I wished I had the time to actually get a couple big gulps, because they are 36 ounces or 40 ounces are the super big gulps. So if I had 2 big gulps here, and anybody who drinks those would be like, oh, I can drink. And even if you broke it down and put like 4 or 5 Starbucks or, sodas or whatever it was, and it's super easy to drink that. But if I put 2 liters of water up here, like those Smart Waters, if you drank 2 of those a day, you'd be fine. Oh, no, that's hard. I don't drink water.
2 liter is a lot. And you look at that, and that's, that's 2 liter of soda.
But when you think of how much liquid, if you start marking how much liquid you drink in a day, I guarantee you it's more than 2 liters.
Probably.
So it's funny that when you said...
if you add all the coffee up...
So if I put 15 coffee cups
and
1/2 can of soda and a couple glasses of water, you are actually consuming more than enough liquids that you need in a day.
Yeah.
But you've just convinced yourself that the only way that you should have liquid is if it's sweetened.
Yeah. Well, I
mean, or caffeinated.
I don't put anything. I just take my coffee black.
So you're actually...
I don't like super, unless it's pumpkin spice, because I am a hipster doofus bitch for pumpkin spice.
I was going to say,
pumpkin spice anything.
You're going to have to call yourself that, because I'm not on the pumpkin spice wagon.
Pumpkin spice coffee, pumpkin spice anything, pumpkin bread, pumpkin pancakes, pumpkin roll, pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin muffins. I will do pumpkin bread muffins. That's about all I'll do.
You just tell me there's pumpkin in it, and I'll probably go, okay.
So, I'm kind of excited because I want to do the Thanksgiving thing again this year in the station. So I'm looking.
Oh, that was fun last year.
I'm looking forward to the 216 Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So, if the bare minimum that you do is make an effort to drink more water and educate yourself about your heart health. So I bought a blood pressure cuff at Walgreens. I don't even remember how much it was, $30, $40, whatever. It's a little mechanical thing. Put it around your arm, push the button, it blows up, tells you what you got. That's it. I did it like everybody else. Like I said before, nobody starts taking care of themselves until it's too late. So I started, obviously, when my liver failed and started paying. And I've always known, because I've had medical issues most of my life. So I've been aware of what my blood pressure and all that stuff is. But especially with your kids, like if you could teach them what healthy actually is, not just you need to eat healthier, you need to be healthier, not that pressure. Educate them on what it is to be healthy, and they're going to be better off and make better decisions going forward. And if you educate yourself, you're going to make better decisions going forward. So as always, if you guys want to find us, you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. So please subscribe to our YouTube, 216 The Net and My LoSo Lifestyle. The more subscribers we have, the more abilities we have on those platforms. And you can email me at Mary at mylosolifestyle.com. Find us on Facebook, send us questions, send us things, send us anything you want, and we will see you guys all next week.
Next week?
Next week, yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. We'll see you guys next week. And Kent, come get your chili.